The Nobel Prize in Literature for 2013 is awarded the Canadian author Alice Munro, master of the contemporary short story.
I wanted to jump into our top story because that is now the top story of this day. Did you hear that live? Alice Munro, one of the greatest living short story writers, now joining the pantheon of the greats of all time. The Nobel Prize for Literature to the 81-year-old from Canada. Anne Macmillan was in London on tenterhooks as we all are waiting for that announcement, and she's been a perennial favorite, Anne, and finally, just that moment, it came for Alice Munro.
This is so exciting, particularly since I did an English degree at university, Heather, so I mean, I can talk about this with a certain amount of knowledge. First Canadian ever to win the Nobel Literature Prize, which was established in 1901. Only 12 women have won it over those years, so very big win for a woman, for feminists, and for Canadians. It is huge, and her name has been on the list, as you say, for many, many years. She was one of the favorites. I think I mentioned that she was number 12 favorite last week. Yesterday, she was second favorite to a Japanese male author, and it is just huge news and very exciting.
So it's so interesting. Well, let's talk about her body of work, Anne, because just in June, she announced that she was going to retire. She put together a collection of 4 biological shorts. But here it is just after this announcement, because she's had some health problems as she's into her 80s now. But what a body of work there. So let's go through what the Nobel Committee has honored just this moment.
They said for her master storytelling, short storytelling, she is regarded, Heather, as one of the world's best short story writers. As I mentioned, she's been on the Nobel list for many years. She won the Man Booker International Prize in 2009, taken lots of Canadian prizes, the Governor General's Award, and most recently a Trillium Award for her book, Dear Life, that one that we've just been talking about, the 4 biographical short stories. She grew up in Wingham, Ontario, and she writes about life in small Canadian towns, themes that resonate with us all, life, death, tragedy, love, particularly love, and often sad endings to the love stories. It's really interesting because I belong to a British book group, and a few years ago suggested we read this woman, and I was a bit worried that because they are very, very Canadian, very, very small town Canadian with sort of gossip and very Canadian themes, I thought they might not like the books, but they just love them, and I think that's her great appeal. She appeals universally, not just to women, but to men as well. The books that she's written, the short stories she's written are so wonderful. They're in books such as Tales of Girls and Women, Who Do You Think You Are? I think I'm right in saying she's written about 14 books. All but one, I think I can say, are short stories. But wonderful news that Alice Munro has won, and proud to be a Canadian.
At this very moment. Dance of the Happy Shades began it all for her in 1968, and as you say, Anne, she's been writing prolifically ever since. She won the Man Booker International Prize, and her work then was lauded as being practically perfect. Now, acknowledged with the Nobel Prize for Literature.